All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're going to bridge that massive gap between simply hoarding your cash and actually building real sustainable wealth. Look, if you've managed to build up a solid $10,000 baseline, you've already done the really hard part. You've proven you have discipline. But what happens next? How do we take those stagnant funds and transition them into a literal growth machine? Well, we're going to break down exactly how to do just that, step by step.
Section 1. The 10K Savings Trap, and why saving is simply not enough. First off, huge congratulations on having the discipline to save up that much. It takes real effort. It really does. But I have to share a kind of uncomfortable truth with you. Doing the seemingly responsible thing actually isn't enough. You know the feeling? You check your banking app, see 10 grand sitting safely in your standard checking or savings account, and you feel protected, right? But month after month, that balance just sits there. It's totally static. Sure, it's safe, but unfortunately, it's barely growing at all.
Now, the math here is honestly pretty stark. A standard savings rate gives you this flat, incredibly slow-growing timeline of maybe about 1%. Now, compare that to the upward curving trajectory of the market, which historically returns 8 to 10% over time. So here is the hard truth we really need to accept. Saving money protects your wealth, absolutely, but it rarely ever builds it.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that keeping your cash in a standard account earning a measly 1% doesn't just mean you're missing out on potential growth. It actually means there's an invisible force quietly stealing from you. Every single day, that money just sits there. That invisible enemy? It's inflation. It's the quiet erosion of your money's purchasing power over time. Think about it. If you keep your $10,000 in that standard savings account, inflation is steadily eating away at what those dollars can actually buy you out in the real world. So while your money sits idle, it's technically losing value. It's wild, but it's true.
Section 2, redefining real financial risk and the danger of doing nothing. So we have to ask ourselves, if the market can grow your $10,000 that significantly, why on earth don't more people invest? Well, it all comes down to psychology. Human nature tells us that saving, the paved, highly predictable road, feels incredibly safe. On the flip side, investing feels like this winding, dynamic, and frankly intimidating path. But we need to completely reframe this mindset. The real risk isn't market volatility. As we just saw with inflation, the absolute highest risk is letting your money sit completely idle and slowly lose its value. Doing nothing, that is a guaranteed loss of purchasing power over time. Guaranteed.
Section 3. The 5-step wealth path, from saving to investing.
Now, if you're feeling a bit confused or intimidated by the stock market, don't worry. This blueprint is exactly what you need. We've got a 5-step path that will safely transition your hard-earned 10 grand into a long-term growth machine, bridging both the practical and the psychological gaps that tend to hold us back. Let's get into it. Step 1. Before you invest a single dollar of your 10 grand, you have to build your shield. You need to keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away in a high-yield savings account. This acts as your dedicated emergency fund. Its one and only job is to protect your future investments from life's inevitable, unpredictable surprises, like a car breaking down or a medical bill, so you never, ever have to sell your investments in a panic. Moving on to step 2. This involves creating 2 totally distinct mental buckets. You've got bucket 1, your safety money kept in cash, and then you have bucket 2, your growth money meant for investments. They have completely different jobs, and the golden rule here is that you must never ever mix them. Safety is for emergencies, growth is for your future. Simple as that. For step 3, we focus on taking action. Look, you don't need to dump thousands of dollars into the market all at once to get started. Actually, scratch that. You really shouldn't. Many platforms let you start with just $50. The goal at this early stage isn't to get rich overnight. The goal is just to build the habit of investing, making it a normal, everyday part of your financial life. And as you build that habit, step 4 is to keep it incredibly simple. You must actively avoid those tempting get-rich-quick schemes. Just ignore them. Instead, choose low-cost, broad-market index funds. These funds should form the absolute backbone of your strategy for building long-term wealth.
See, a single broad market index fund provides instant diversification. Instead of betting all your chips on one single company, your money is spread out across hundreds of different companies at once. This strategy gives you historically solid returns without the massive, stomach-churning stress of trying to pick individual winning stocks.
Finally, step 5 brings the whole shebang together. Automate and wait. Just set up automatic monthly contributions to your investment accounts. Remember, consistency is always greater than timing. Trying to perfectly time the market? It's a fool's errand. Consistently putting money in month after month, rain or shine, that is a proven winner. The absolute secret sauce in this entire framework is patience. Once you automate, you just step back and let compound interest do all the heavy lifting for you. We are talking about growth over decades, not days. The compounding curve starts off a little slow, sure, but over time, the growth becomes completely exponential. It's amazing to see.
Section 4, Planting Your Financial Seeds and How Patience Yields a Forest.
To wrap this all up, we really need to shift our core perspective on what those saved dollars actually represent. There's this beautiful analogy directly from our source material. Saving is storing seeds in a jar. Investing is planting them in soil. Think about that. If you keep your $10,000 in a jar, yes, it is perfectly safe from the elements. But those seeds are never ever going to grow into anything more. And that brings us to our ultimate takeaway for today. Saving gives you necessary stability. It builds your shield and protects you today. But investing? Investing means taking those seeds out of the jar and actually putting them into the soil. Yes, it takes some patience, and yes, it takes time, but eventually you harvest a forest of true financial freedom. So I want to leave you with this question to really reflect on as you look at your own $10,000 or whatever baseline you've built up for yourself. Are you still in the saving phase, just staring at seeds in a jar? Or have you officially started your investing journey and planted them in the soil? Think about which choice your future self will ultimately thank you for.